Y'all, I'm reading the Bible because I've committed to reading the entire Bible over the next, 4 months, 5 months, November, December, January, February, 4 months. So I'm reading the entire Bible. Woof. I am reading the entire Bible over the next 4 months. And excuse my hair, it's almost wash day and we work from home, so mind your business. I'm reading the Bible. Focus, Washington. And there's so many things that are like popping out to me now that didn't pop out to me before. And maybe it's because how I was reading it then versus how I'm reading it now is different because of me just being different. But anyways, focus. I picked up some things that I ain't picked up before. First thing being that in the middle of the Garden of Eden, there were 2 trees. There was the tree of life and then the tree of good. Or hold on, don't let me misquote because that's the purpose of doing this. All right, so blah, 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 blah. The tree of life and then the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's what it is. Knowledge of good and evil. Knowledge of good and evil. Tree of life. 2 trees, middle of the garden. In comes a serpent, snake, whatever you want to call him. And my boy is like, hey, did the Lord really say you couldn't eat of the trees, couldn't eat the fruit of the trees? How did he say, how did he put it? He said, this how the serpent man came up at Eve. First of all, well, she's not even named at this point. She's just called woman, but we call her Eve. Anyways, so this is how serpent pulls up on woman. He like, hey, indeed has God said you shall not eat from any tree of the garden, right? Shrewd serpent, right? Very crafty. And girl responds, woman responds, and she says, from the fruit of the trees of the garden we may eat, but from the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden. See, when she responds as if there's only one tree in the middle of the garden. But if you go to text before that, it clearly states that there's 2 separate trees. One is the tree of life and the other is the knowledge of good and evil. So I'm yet confused as to why she's referring to trees, plural, as if it's just one. But also, I had to dig a little deeper, and I was like, well, to be fair, she wasn't around when the Lord laid out the law. See, the law was laid out. When was the law laid out? I took some notes because I was like, gotta understand this, right? So the law was given to Adam in chapter 2, verse 16. Woman, and I'm saying Adam, he didn't have a name either at the time, really. He was just man. So the law was given to man in chapter 2, verse 16. Woman didn't come around. She wasn't created until 6 verses later. So she was created in chapter 2, verse 22, 6 verses later. So she wasn't around when the law was given. So to her, maybe it was put like, hey, you can't eat from either one of those trees. And so in her mind, it's like, well, that's just, both trees are now just tree. I don't know. I wasn't there. But all I'm saying is there's some ambiguity right in there. Because first of all, who wrote this? Why they didn't tell us about the conversation between man and woman? Like when he was telling her about the law, like did he verbatim tell her what the Lord had said the law was? Or did he just telephone it and gave her like a Cliff Notes version? Because her Cliff Note version might be what she was spitting to the serpent, which would explain the confusion. But anyways, back to the subject at hand before, you will surely, serpent retorts like, hey, you surely will not die, because she was like, hey, we can't eat from it. But also, not only did she say that they couldn't eat from it, she also said that they couldn't touch it or they would die. And when the Lord gave the law, he didn't say nothing about touching the tree. He said if you eat of the tree. Hold on, let me actually go to 2:16 so we could read it verbatim. It says, the Lord God commanded the man saying, from any tree of the garden you may eat freely. Verse 17. Oh, I didn't realize it split. So the law was given in verse 17. 16 and 17, excuse me. I said 16 a second ago, but it's both verses. But from the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day you eat from it, you will surely die. Ain't saying nothing about touching nothing. And here she is talking about touching something. So where did she get that from? Game of telephone? I don't know. Anyways, first she out here talking about the two trees as if they're just one. Then she talking about you can't touch the tree. It's just all wrong. Misstatement of the law. Anyways, so we fast forward, and from the start of chapter 3, I just knew that the serpent had pulled up on woman by herself, because it ain't say nothing about man being around. But we get to verse 6, where woman partakes of the fruit that she's not supposed to partake of. And when I say partake, I mean eat, not the touch that she made up, because that ain't even a part of the law. But anyways, so verse 6, it says, when the woman saw the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight, to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable to make one wise, she took from its fruit and ate. That's the part where you die. You will surely die. That's what the Lord had told the man. Anyways, the very next part of this says, and she gave also to her husband with her, and he ate. It reads differently it reads more clearly in the New Living Translation. That's what I was reading on my phone, but since I'm recording, I can't pull that up at this moment. Oh, actually, laptop. Yes, I can. Hold that thought, because yeah, I was under the impression that my boy Adam was like nowhere in sight, like tending to sheep, wolves, bears, I don't know, doing something that he was commanded to do, right? But then that verse, so chapter 3, verse 6, later goes on to be like, after she ate, she gave to her husband to eat, and he was with her. So to me, that made it seem like she was right here having this conversation with serpent man, and not serpent man, but the serpent, and man, her husband, was like right next to her, like right here, right in here, right here, while she having this conversation and being duped. And he over here doing what? Like, were you distracted? Were you talking to animals? Were you picking up grains? Like, how is it that your wife, your person, is over here? I just don't get it. Because, like, if you were the one who was given the law, like, let's make it present day times. Because, like, if I was told by my professor, like, hey, this is how you get an A in my class, right? And one of my classmates was absent, and I played the game of telephone, to tell one of my classmates that's my friend, like, hey, this is what the professor said need to be done to get this A. And then somebody else in the same class rose up and said something different while I'm standing there with my classmate friend. I'm not just gonna sit there and be quiet and be like I'm gonna be like, no, hold up, that's not what the professor said, because the professor actually said this. Like, where was Adam with the like rah-rah, or man, Adam, person, whatever? He wasn't named yet, so that I could see in the Bible. But anyways, I'm so confusion. Because if he was there and he knew, because he heard from the professor himself, the professor being God, you follow. And like, why would you do that? Why would you allow your homie, your friend, your lover, your wife to do that? Like, you knew you was told, the professor, Jesus, God, Trinity, all three was like, hey, yo, you do this, that's gonna happen. And you knew that. Like, you got it firsthand. Like, it was given to you. Not her, but you. What the what? What was I supposed to be doing? Oh, I was supposed to be pulling up the text in a different version of the Bible because make it make sense to me because it's not making sense. NLT. I'm not with it, as you could tell. So, let's see. I pulled it up. It says, so she took, I'm skipping to like the part that I'm focused on. There's more in this verse. But anyways, it says, so she took some of the fruit and ate it. Next sentence. Then she gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it too. It's the who was with her that's bothering me. Because why was you there and not saying nothing? Why? I'm over it. I need to go get something to eat. I'm so stressed at these people. And I know this happened a long time ago. And I've read these scriptures at least, I don't know how many times. I'm just going to make up a number. At least 10 times before. And it didn't upset me and my homegirls like it's upsetting me now. So this shows that I've grown in some ways, or that my reading skills have gotten better. Because why? I gotta go. I just gotta